Okay, so let's get started. So just as a quick, introduction, my name is Deepak, and I'll be, presenting you about data visualizations and, basic business intelligence concepts we're using Tableau software. Okay, so just as a quick introduction from you all, can I just get to know, who all are here and a quick, basic domain that you're working on, so that it's going to be pretty easier, and I really want this to be a pretty interactive session. So guys, please, lighten up. I know it's a festive season, but yeah, we can actually try to make this as interesting as possible. So just in one word, what domain you generally belong to. Can you guys just type it out in the text box, everyone? Hello, Pratik. Is the voice audible?
Absolutely loud and clear. Deepak, there are a lot of people, so if we did round of introduction with everyone, then it may take a lot of time. So let them, send their replies,
Yeah.
and we can probably get started with the agenda a little bit.
Uh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, your voice is breaking up.
No. I was just
One second.
saying that
Yeah. Can you hear me?
let yeah, I can hear you. I was just saying that we can get started
Okay.
because there are a lot of people, so it may just take a lot of time, if we did
Okay.
each and everyone's
Uh-huh.
background.
Uh-huh. Okay, no problem. I did get quite a bit of messages around, so I can see, a mechanical graduate, info science engineer, a market research analyst, computer science graduate. Great. So that's pretty much what I was looking for. Okay, so let's just get started as to what Tableau is all about. So
Hello, Mr.
let me
Deepak.
just yeah. Hello, may I know who this is? Hello. So yeah, let's just get started with this. Okay. So before we just go forward with looking into the software in particular or the tool in particular, let's just first salute the creators as a part of our custom itself. So we've got Pat, Chris, and Christian. These three people are the ones who actually developed Tableau software. Basic intent of providing an end user interface and end user business intelligence tool. So typically business intelligence was up for anyone. I mean basically only for developers and some kind of senior analysts. Now they just with their help, it was more with their product, it was more open to any sort of domain. So just that's the reason why I typically asked as to what background you're basically from. So any sort of market analyst, research analyst, or a mechanical graduate, or anyone typically who has data can actually work with Tableau. So looking into the basic agenda for tonight, so let's just look into a small PPT. I'm not going to bore you guys with too many slides as well. It's just going to be a typical. I'm just going to use these for markers and stuff. That's it, nothing more than that. So we'll look into what data visualization is all about, what Tableau is all about, why we have to learn Tableau, where are the companies that you can target if you are skilled in Tableau, what are the different platforms that Tableau offers. We'll try to have a bit of a hands-on, and that's where we'll look into building a report, drill downs, or using a dashboard or anything of that sort. Yeah, even the interactivity is something which you can also experiment in today's webinar. Okay. So getting into basics, data visualization. So can you guys just, anyone at all, can you just split up this two-word and let me know how best you can say that. What would you actually mean by data visualization? If you could just type it out in the comment section, it's going to be great. Or even if you can, come online, that's still fine. So what is your basic understanding about the word data visualization? What would you say? Anyone at all? Okay, to make information more understandable. Okay, to present data in a simpler, legible form. Okay, representation of data. Good. Okay. Anyone else? Anyone else at all? So Shreya says to make information more understandable. So Shreyas, how do you? Okay, pictorial representation, graph data charts, add visual appealing. Vineet says. Okay. To summarize, basically, Shreyas, let me just ask you in the first place, what do you mean by making information more understandable? Are you talking about information being presentable? Yes. Okay. So it also means how best. Okay, we're waiting for name. Actually says presentation of data in a pictorial or graphical format. Yes, perfect. Spot on. So basically, data visualization is something which it's just what you want to say, or the data what you have, how best and how clearly, how effectively you can present it across to different areas, different people, probably different platforms on different basic platforms itself. I'm sorry, so, Sudipta Chatterjee, you don't understand anything. Okay, just don't worry about it. We'll just get into every other aspect in detail. So Sudipta itself, if you say that you don't understand anything, can I just ask you a simple question? Have you ever written a small note to anyone at all? Anything. It could be, bring me apples. Have you written that? Sudipta, are you there? Bring me apples. Yes. Have you ever written a note? Have you ever written a note to anyone of that sort? So what you have actually done is the information what you wanted to pass it on to another person over voice, or you being physically being present. Instead of that, what you have actually done. Just a minute. Let's just get into that. So the information what you actually wanted to yeah, the information what you are actually wanted to say it out, you're actually writing it down in a piece of paper and leaving it for someone. Now the other person who comes in and looks into that piece of paper which says bring me apples, he can understand. I mean, the person who can obviously understand English would obviously relate and understand that, okay, you are talking about apples, so you have used a set of data in a proper format, made it into a meaningful sentence, and you have just left it to a person. So that's actually once the basic, or the ground zero of visualization. You have actually developed it. So all these days you have been using data visualizations, but probably you might have not explored it in your probably in your official life or anything of that sort, on your professional aspect or even your data sources. Okay. So let's just look into a few simple examples on how best you would probably understand. Now, I would probably ask you to just have a quick glance on this data. Your boss actually asks you to give you the sales figures of different years and asks you to point out which year has got the highest sales. Okay, which month has got the highest sales in which year? So how would you do it? I mean, can you just point it out for me? In 2011, which month has got the highest sales? In 2012, which month has got the highest sales? In 2013, which month has got the highest sales? And in 2014, which month has got the highest sales? Can anyone just point it out to me? Okay, October 2011, October 2011. Okay, next, in 2012, 13 and 14. How would you say it? Anyone else? Arpita, in 2012, let me just show that to you. Okay. 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 August, December, October, August. Okay, August, October. All right. How about in 2013? 2013 and 14? Anyone? Go for it. Right, 2014. Okay, I did get quite a bit of answers now. Okay, now tell me, was this pretty easy, or how exactly you found this to be? You know, did you scan through all the numbers? Did you find the highest? Your boss just asked you to point out which month. He never asked you for the numbers, right? So how did you actually just go through? Did you go through it like, you know, month after month, compared with the previous month, which one is greater, and then did you go on to the next month? By number, exactly. But were you trying to do it like, you know, by comparison, basically, right? So that's what we did. So it did take. Okay, now let me just present you a different view, and let's see how quickly you could probably, you know, get this. How about this view? Let me just give you a full screen of it. How about this view? Was this easy? Is this difficult compared to the previous one to point out the numbers?
And the morning
Yeah, it's much easier with the highest number. Okay, glanced through. Okay, the next says he just glanced through. So was this easier or was this easier? Which one do you think is better? The second one? The graphs, exactly, right? So it actually gives you a much clear presentation of the data, and it gives you that, you know, first 3-second or 4-second information that anyone actually needs. In addition, can anyone point out a few of the pointers with regards to this as to, you know, what was really good about it? So did anyone notice, you know, colors to be different? Was it colorful? Did you guys see a trend? Do you see a pattern? Much easier than compared to, you know, just the normal Tableau data. Yeah. So here, just look at the peaks. Yes, that's right. So it's much easier to understand what exactly is happening around with the data. You know, how the trend is flowing when more compared to, you know, the Tableau data. All right.
Hello.
So let's just.
Hello, Deepak.
Yeah.
Hello, Deepak.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
I'm audible?
I can hear you. Who?
This is Shudipto.
All right, guys. Hello.
I'm audible, na?
Your voice is breaking up. I'm unable to hear. Will it be okay if you can, you know, just type in a message or, you know?
Sorry, this is Prateek. Why don't you just type in your question, Sudipto? Deepak,
Okay,
continue, please.
guys, yeah.
Go ahead, Deepak, continue, please.
Hello.
Yeah, I can continue. Okay, so guys, just for your just for a small quick ground rule, in case if you guys have any sort of question right in between or something of that sort, just, you know, yell out boom or just type in boom so that I can clearly know that there's some head which is exploding in some part of the country. All right, so that even I'll stop it at that point and we can, you know, go ahead. Otherwise, we'll stop every after every 5 minutes, and then we can quickly understand and move forward. We'll look into the questions as well. Okay.
No,
Yeah.
after 5 minutes, Deepak, I need a few minutes from you.
Sure, perfect. Is this Pradeep or who was this?
This was Sudipto. Sudipto, we will take the questions if you have any profile-specific questions, Sudipto. We can take it at the end of the session because we have an agenda
Okay,
that
no
we need to follow, Sudipto. Okay.
Yeah.
No, definitely, because I can't follow it. That's why I just wanted to know what's exactly going on.
I mean, you can't see the screen.
Oh, okay.
No, because I have only heard the voice of Mr. Deepak.
No, you can't. Can you not see the
Okay.
screen?
Right now, I'm getting a picture of linear graphic presentation.
Okay, then let's
linear
concentrate on the
presentation.
screen, Sudipto. Now you'll be able to understand it.
Okay.
Okay. So just as a quick intro, Sudipto, it's just that I'm explaining what data visualization is all about. Okay. And yeah, so going forward, just as another example, I'll just take one other aspect wherein, your boss probably wants to ask you, point out the months which has made negative profits in whichever year. Okay. So, and you come up with a small tabular data again, and you show him this one. Now, can anyone point out to me negative values out of this entire lot? Basically, negative values as in the month which tags along to the negative value. Can anyone do it? September 13. Okay. 2011 July. Okay. Next. Anyone else? September 13. Yes. 2011 July and November. Okay. Someone just missed out August. Okay. August is also there. Okay. Great. Anything else? Right? Okay. So I'll give you another view. Tell me if this looks nice. How quickly can you get out of this compared to the previous one? Right? Let me just give you a couple of minutes to kind of sink this information in. Yeah? This is faster to understand. Okay. Okay. Which one? More easy to find out negative growth. Oh, okay. All right. Next. Anyone else? Okay, it's easier to understand. Okay, so you guys all understand, agree to it that okay, the second one is much better. It's much easier to understand, right? So that's what probably every other industry would probably need to also. They actually pretty much require a snapshot of your of the entire information what is there, and in case if they still want to have a detailed view, they can any which ways drill down and go further. So just to summarize this entire point, what we have just talked about, what exactly is data visualization? Okay, so basically it is a pictorial representation of whatever data that you have in your database. It could be sitting in terms of any number of tables, or it could be sitting in any number of databases. You would probably want to collate everything together and put a set of meaningful data. So that is actually what constitutes an information, something which can be used by someone. So this pictorial representation of data can be done using charts, graphs, even geographical notations. It could be in a scatter plotting, or it could be in quite a lot of ways. Okay, so the next one is you have to present this information to the right audience. All right. So that's when it actually creates much more effective meaning and to understanding. You would probably, if you're talking to your CEO, it has to be an overall summary which you would be looking at, rather than the calculations that you have done behind getting those values, right? So that is what you mean by presenting the right information to the right audience. The next major concept about data visualization is to make sure that the person whom you're presenting the data to, he thinks more about the substance. Like someone was pointing out when you saw this, right? Someone pointed out about a trend. Someone pointed out about how the negative value is decreasing. So you have got to think more about the substance, or the meaning out of the graph, rather than looking into how best you could compare both the numbers and then arrive. So that's what I mean by basic methodology, right? So here what you did was, in terms of January, you looked into this number. It is 106 February, you said okay, it is 3,600, so you said okay, February is greater than January, so I'll take January. So this is a methodology that you followed through the entire 12 months. This is not something which any boss would be happy to look at. He would not want to skim through and compare and then go get his final results. So basically, what he would require is more of a pictorial understanding about how best the data is talking about, rather than him sitting and calculating all these formulas and then arriving at a small conclusion. Okay. Then you would also want to kind of provide a platform where you can visually compare. You would want to reveal the data only at certain levels of detail. From the broad overview is also what you would probably want to give at, and also you want to get into the finer structure. We'll see how best we can drill down and see further details as well. Okay, so you would basically want a person to understand your logic and not wait or make him go through the painful process of calculation and everything. Yes, and for us it saves time too. Yeah. Okay, so basically, what exactly is Tableau? So now we've all seen more, how best the data visualization can probably help us to save time, effort, and also resources as well at times. You wouldn't want to spend too much of money on hiring a person just to sit down and read those numbers for you, right? So basically, Tableau is a self-service tool which any person from any domain can actually get a bit of hands-on, and he can develop his own visualization. It's a pretty user-friendly tool. You can create reports, you can create dashboards, you can perform statistical analysis, you can perform quite a lot of geospatial analysis. You can also share different dashboards across various platforms. Nowadays everyone is on mobile, so anyone and everyone would want to see the reports from any corner of the country that they are in, right? So you can actually share your reports. You can also collaborate as in getting more insights, or giving your own inputs to the dashboard which has already been developed. It also allows you to create user access. You could control user access. You can provide certain privileges to certain users itself. So all these put together is what Tableau is all about. Okay, so it helps quite a bit. So any questions at all till here? We'll look into further understanding in some time. So I just want to quickly ask you, in case if you have any other doubts or questions, I can probably take it right now before we go on further. Anything at all? Guys, at least tell me a no, right? Any questions? Okay, someone says okay. This is okay. Is that what you mean? DTS okay? Okay. All right. Talking about okay. No questions. Yes. No. How different? Okay. Vineet Sharma says, how different is it from Excel or PowerPoint? Okay. So Excel or PowerPoint? See, Excel is definitely a pretty amazing analytical tool. Okay. It is very good. We will look into those differences in some time as well. You would see how easy it is on Tableau when compared to Excel as well. So Excel, what happens is, in case if there is any sort of a data point that you want to point out, or if you want to add in something, it has to be done through user calculations, right? Or if you want to add in something, here again you have user calculations, but it is all reduced to a much larger extent. There are certain already pre-built tools which can be used to arrive at certain conditions. You wouldn't have to need the in-depth understanding of Excel or analytics to use Tableau basically. Okay, someone says, is this same as ClickView? ClickView, yes, it is another BI tool as well, but there are quite a lot of add-ons when it comes to Tableau, more than ClickView as well. So there is quite a bit compared to Tableau. So Tableau works like Power BI does. Yes, Power BI is again another business intelligence tool. Okay, they have their own way of functioning, but why Tableau is something which we will look today. Is it a BI tool? Yes, of course. Tableau is a BI tool, which is an end user BI tool. Okay, and Arpita, no, this is not a free software. However, you do get a 14-day trial period, which you can actually work with. Okay, so that 14-day trial period is going to be your complete end-to-end thing. It's no such thing as a professional or personal edition or anything of that sort. You will get a complete package for 14 days. You can download that. Okay. All right. Can we go further? All right. So the next one. Gartner Magic Quadrant. Has anyone heard of this? Anyone at all? Yes? No? Maybe? Has anyone seen this? No? Okay, so basically there's one particular small institute which actually looks into the comparison of different products as to where exactly they stand. They also consider how the product is being developed, how its future stands, what are the current development activities that is taking place. Okay, so they look into quite a lot of parameters, and they come down to one extent.
Can you make it full screen?
And then one second, yeah. Can you guys see it right now? Pratik, how is it?
Yeah.
Better? Yeah. Okay. So Gartner actually looks into all these parameters and plots it out in different quadrants, right? And Tableau, since the last 5-6 years or so, it's always been in the leaders quadrant, and it's always leading the market. You can see Tableau over here. Okay. And ClickView is also in the race, but it's quite behind. The closest competitor for Tableau is somewhere with Microsoft, but that is still not in comparison with Tableau. If someone has used my Power BI, you would definitely appreciate Tableau at the end of this webinar. Okay, so I have used Power BI, and I actually started off with Power BI, and then I got on to Tableau, so I do know the pain behind Power BI. Okay, so why should I learn Tableau? This is something which all of you guys have right now, right? So the very first point is, you don't have any coding. You don't have to code anything. So the biggest, someone asked me what's the difference between Excel and Tableau. So you don't have to generally write down any sort of formula or code or anything, just to have your basic visualizations. You don't need to learn pivot charts when it comes to Excel to create a chart or anything of that sort. You don't need to know what a pivot is, nothing. All that you need is just drag and drop. You should have that capability, just a mouse pointer, which would click one particular dimension or a measure, drag it and drop it accordingly. You have your visualizations. Okay. Next one is, you've got a lot extensive number of data sources. You've got close to like 64 data sources, data servers that you can connect to. You can connect to MySQL, SQL Server, Hadoop, any sort of high-end MongoDB, something which you can connect to. You could connect to flat files. You could connect to Excels. PDFs is something which was recently introduced as well. You can connect quite a bit on that aspects as well. So with Tableau, you could also connect to a large data sets. Excel. Can anyone tell me what is the maximum that Excel can handle? What exactly? I mean, what is the maximum number of rows that Excel can handle? Anyone at all? 1 million. Yes, perfect. 1 million. What happens after 1 million? How would you work data sets which has got more than 1 million rows? CS please. Okay, perfect. What happens if the size is like even bigger? Does it take time to load? Do you require another set of probably backend application to read through your code, perform certain? Yeah, that's what Hadoop. Hadoop. Yeah, that's quite a lot of other solutions as well. You could use probably Hadoop, or you could use Pandas when it comes to backend of Python, and quite a lot of other big data tools that are there. But for all these things, do you not need coding? You need to be good with Hadoop. You need to be good with Python in case you have to use Pandas, right? Yeah, in case if you have to set out queries and pull out results, you will have to. So you need to learn SQL for that. Yes. So yeah, putting in all these things together, there is quite a bit of learning that needs to be done, right? That clearly defines today who has so much of time to sit down and learn all that and then get trained as a developer itself. You've got quite a lot of other work as analyst itself, right? So that again creates quite a bit of an issue. So Tableau has that ability to handle those large data sets and create those visualizations with quite a bit of ease. So you've got easy collaboration platforms. You can do forecasting with ease. Okay. Can anyone tell me, what sort of, how difficult or how easy has anyone encountered a situation wherein they had to forecast something? Yes, it needs hardcore IT professional. So anyone who has worked with, forecasting, has anyone done it? I'm asking about, an astrologer's job. Has anyone done it? I don't mean any offense, but yeah, basically, can you forecast? Anyone at all? So here it's just with one drag and drop, you can have a forecast, which is pretty much simple. Okay, we'll look into that as well. So you could also integrate with R and Python and build your own forecasting models. And finally, you've got a huge knowledge base and community support as well. So tomorrow, anywhere you are, any point you're stuck, you do have a good community support as well. Okay. So basically, someone just asked me, is this software too free, right? Arpita, right? Okay, so share estimation, was that for forecast? We're talking about forecast? Okay. Arpita, yes, you were asking if the product is for free. No, this product is not for free. It does give you a 14-day trial, and it is pretty, a good investment itself for the company itself. It's a good number if they have to, implement it on their platforms. But right now, you've got more than 50,000 different customers, and the numbers are still growing. It's much more than that. I have embedded a link for the customers user base right now. You could refer to that later when the PDF, when the PPT is shared with you. So you could have different sectors, including it could be aerospace, it could be defense, automotive, communications, retail, anything at all, any different sector that you're in. Someone said that they're from a mechanical background. Someone said that they're from a mechanical
healthcare sector. In
healthcare sector, yes. Yes, it is there. There's one. There are quite a lot of companies which are using it under healthcare sector as well. And I myself have service for a couple of healthcare sectors. Have developed quite a bit of visualizations and dashboards for a chain of hospitals itself. So yes, it suits for anything and everything, any other sector which has data. Point out to me a sector which does not have any data. That is why probably Tableau would not be used. Okay, so right from Google to Cisco or any of those companies, Audi, you've got mechanical engineers. You could take Audi for example. Those guys are using Tableau. So there are quite a lot of sectors that you can look into. Okay, so there are quite huge number of sectors that are actually working on constructions, consumer goods, pharmaceuticals, vehicles, anything. Okay, so any doubts till now before we go? Okay, yes, forecasting of product share. Okay, how do we learn Tableau if it's available only for 14 days? You need to purchase a full version. Yes, that might be there. There's also a cloud version, which is, as Pratik says, yes, thanks, Pratik. There's also a cloud version which is, Tableau public, right? Which is open to anyone and everyone. You could connect Excels to that basically. It's Tableau public. Is the Tableau public that comes for free enough to learn Tableau? Yes, yes, it is. It is good enough for you to learn Tableau. So the basic understanding you can get rid of it. Okay. All right. Any other questions till now?
Deepak, say something. Hello.
Hello. Can you hear me?
We can hear you, Deepak. We can hear you.
Okay, perfect. So, any or can I move forward?
Please.
Hello.
Right.
Hello,
Okay.
Deepak.
All right. Yeah. Who's this?
No. Go ahead.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Your voice is not very clear.
No. Deepak, go ahead. Pratik, go ahead, please.
Hello. Is
go ahead.
anyone asking a question? Okay. I can go ahead. All right. So different platforms of Tableau, basically, how you have platforms designed as totally, Tableau actually offers like three or four major different platforms. You've got an authoring tool wherein you would be creating desktop, you would be creating all your visualizations. Okay, so that's where you would have Tableau desktop coming into the picture, which is this one. It is for anyone. You have a sharing platform, which is Tableau Online, or it could be server as well. You have Reader, which is again a platform wherein you can just share, your reports that you have generated. But only thing is, with Reader, you wouldn't be able to edit it. And Tableau Server is again, a server instance which is installed on premise on for a company on a company's own servers, basically. Okay. So this is a different platform altogether. Platform altogether, which probably a lot of companies would be looking for when they have their own servers. They have their own setup. Tableau Server is a collaboration platform which is hosted and made available on their own servers itself. Okay. So Tableau, I'll just skim through quite a few of these things, because we'll jump in and look into the tool itself in particular. So Tableau desktop is basically an authoring product wherein you can connect to different data sources. It could be live or extract, or you can develop your reports. You can publish it, and then you can also export these dashboards in various format. You can have. I've already shared these slides with Pratik, and you would also be getting it later, so that for your further references as well. Okay. So Tableau Server and Online is again sharing platforms wherein it will be wherein you can publish all your reports, and then it can be seen by different people, and it could be used for collaboration as well. Okay. So let's just first dive into our tool, okay, and see how good it is, or how how it actually really helps us, or how different it is from your more typical Excel or any other BI tool itself. Okay, so let's just fire up Tableau and see what all we can work with this. Okay, give me a minute, please. Okay. So right now, when I just open up Tableau, as you can clearly see that the very first thing is to develop any sort of visualization. The first thing we would obviously require is the data, of course, right? So how do you connect? Where does the data reside? It could reside either in a flat file. Flat file, by what I mean is, probably an Excel file or a text file or an Access or a JSON, which is typically not on any sort of a server or anything of that sort. Okay, so you can connect it to a flat file directly or a particular server. So when you connect to a particular server, there are close to 64 different types of servers that you can connect to, and you can work with such kind of resources as well. Okay, so just for this purpose, we'll just connect a small Excel and see how best we can develop a few of our visualizations. Okay, so we'll just look into a small scenario. I'll just try to pull up a small scenario. I'll just give you a small story. Okay, so let's say that I have a small superstore to maintain. Okay, a typical superstore. It could be any of your supermarket itself. Okay, so if the moment I have my superstore, obviously I do have quite a lot of products, and I would have already segregated those products into different categories, and those categories would again be probably split into subcategory levels as well. Okay, so I would want to probably basically look into how the overall performance of a superstore is. I would want to look into how just one of the categories performing, and I want to know if there are any less profit making transactions. I want to know in case how different cities are working that. I want to know how much of profit I'm making versus the cost of goods that I have invested on, basically. So let's just look into these many scenarios today and understand how best we can develop our own visualizations. So let me just connect to our first data source. It's a typical transactional data source which has transaction of each and every product that has been ever sold. Okay, so I'll just take orders table for now. The moment I connect it and pull up one bills, okay, Tableau automatically gives me a snapshot of the entire data that is there. Okay, currently I've got about, say, let's check. I'll try to put about 10,000 rows. Okay, so yes, I do have about 10,000 rows. Let's go further and check in case if it is 100,000 rows. No, there are a total of 11,000 rows in this particular data set. Okay, so let's see what all analysis we can get out of this huge Excel that we have. Okay, so basically our first step towards analyzing any sort of data is I want to know what sort of data is coming in the first place. So I want to know if it's a number or a string or it's a date or what exactly that is. Okay, so Tableau automatically understands the kind of data that is coming in, and so your first step is removed. You don't have to understand what sort of data is coming in. Okay, so Tableau automatically reads the kind of data that is coming in. You see the small symbol over here. It says by default it takes it as number because the entire column has numeric data, so it takes it as number, and it sees that there is no decimal point in the data, so it takes it as number whole. All right. In case if it is a string kind of thing that is coming in, yes, it takes it as all the text would be considered as a string object. Okay. If it sees that okay, there is something called something in this format, all right, it looks up and it says that okay, this could be a date. Okay. And in case if it sees something like China or India or Pakistan with constant repetitions, it understands that it is a country. Okay, and mind you, I haven't made any sort of formatting on this particular Excel. I can show you that Excel as well. It is just a huge dump of Excel that I have.
So one question
I have
one of the participants asked is, how did you connect Excel with Tableau?
There are inbuilt connectors for this. Okay, let me just get to that question. I'm sorry, did I miss that? How did Swagnik? Okay, yeah. So there are different connectors that Tableau has. It's already inbuilt within Tableau. Okay, so all these data sources, all these words what you see, they all link to a separate data connectors that is built in. There are different drivers for each and every single type of data set. Okay, so the moment you just click on it, it opens up this dialog box, and all that you have to do is you just have to choose the Excel that you have. Okay, and you can connect it. And in case if it is just a server that you're trying to connect to, all that you have to do is just double click on the server. It will ask you for the server name along with the port that the server is hosted on, If at all there's an authentication that is required, it would take in the username and password, and then you can sign into that particular server to pull out the respective tables. Okay, clear? Let me just get Sagnik, is that clear? I hope that's that answers your question. Okay, so once you have actually connected the particular data source, so once that you have connected that particular data source, so let's just, I was just trying to show you the Excel as well. See, this is how my Excel is coming in. There is no such formatting. You can see everything is on general. There's no such special formatting or anything or special data preparation that I have done for Tableau to understand all these things. All these things are inbuilt and it is clearly understood by Tableau itself. Okay, so just jumping straight into our analysis or creation of a particular report, right? So Tableau also automatically understands what a measure is and what a dimension is. Anyone has any clue about what a measure is and what a dimension is? Anyone at all? Can anyone tell me what a measure is and what a dimension is? Guys, anyone? Okay, so basically what a measure is it's more a dimension is basically a categorical information. It will tell you what the data is all about. It so something like country or a category or a state, it is something which the the number or the measure it's tagged on to. It is a categorical information, whereas measure is something more of a quantitative information on which you can it's typically more got to do with numbers, wherein you can slice and dice upon, you can perform certain aggregations, average out values, create forecasting values or anything of that sort. Okay, so any sort of mathematical operations that you want to perform, you would be performing on measures. So here is where you don't have to bother much about creating a facts and dimension kind of role over here. You just have to connect it and Tableau automatically understands what a measure is and what a dimension is. Okay, so basically to work with, right? So I've got that entire set of data. Now if someone has given me just that Excel and find out what exactly I need to or just ask me give me the total number of sales that has happened overall. Okay, I would probably have to pivot it or probably write a formula to compute the sum of sales, right? Here in Tableau, I don't have to do that. Okay, I just have to double click on sales, and automatically I have one column chart which says that which gives the total number of sales by automatically itself. And in case if I have to find out an average of it, all that I have to do is just right click on this field, go to the measure and say average. Now I get my average sales of that entire set. Okay. Now, say for example, someone asks me how is it performing across different categories. Okay, so that's my first thing. I want to know how my superstore is performing across different categories, right? So all that I have to do is just double click on categories, and it automatically puts up categories into column and rows, and the sum of sales into rows. So it gives me a split up of which category is performing how. I find that this is to an extent fine. I would also want to find out further insights about it, so I'll also tag on subcategories as well. Okay. Now it clearly gives me a split up as to how different subcategories are performing. It's a little hard to read, so what I could probably do is I could transpose these things to look in a much clearer way. And also let me just see the sorted by descending to see the highest performers as well. Okay, so clearly without any sort of coding, with just 3 to 4 clicks I have my first information ready. And the second part is I want to know how my profit is happening. Sales, of course, it is good enough information, but profit also adds on to it to make a complete analysis. So all that I have to do is just drag profit and put it onto. All that I have to do is drag profit and put it onto the pane. All right. Tableau automatically understands what a positive number is and what a negative number is, and it clearly defines it based on that color gradient. I did not have to tell it to Tableau, okay, to mark it by these many colors. So it clearly understands the data that is coming in, and it lets you to be on the flow itself. Okay, so I can clearly see that okay, tables, it is not even though I'm making a pretty good enough sales, it is not a very profitable issue. So there is a problem area which we would probably want to dig deeper and look into. Okay, so this is not the only type of visualization. It's not that okay, Tableau has given something and I have to stick with it. Okay, Tableau allows you to be in the flow. Okay, and try to you could create pretty much create any sort of graph that you want. You could probably experiment with a few other things. It could be a pie chart, or it could be column bar, or heat graph, heat map, or scatter bubble plot, or anything of that sort. Tableau also tells you that grays out a few of the visualizations which you cannot do with the provided dimensions and measures. So that's the reason the other things are grayed out. It also tells you what exactly you need to achieve these sort of graphs as well. Okay, and again, if you find that okay, these things are really not good enough, and you want to go back to the one which Tableau actually gave, you can always hit back and you can get back to the initial visualization which Tableau provided. Okay, so now that I see that okay, there is a certain problem with tables, I would also want to know in what regions it is affected. Okay, so let me just drag out a region and put it across on a column. Okay, now that I have a clear split up of different regions, and I see that okay, in Southeast Asia the tables are performing very badly, even though the sales are like pretty good when compared to other aspects. So I can always click on this and drill in further and see what exactly has happened. Okay, so now that I have the table under furniture itself, I can also pull up products. Okay, I have got the list of products which is not performing really well. I could sort it out, and I can clearly point out to the least profit making transaction. And basically, okay, now that we have already found out that this particular product is not doing pretty good. Okay, I can also view the underlying data which is behind this. All that I have to do is just click on this, and I find out that there is a particular issue with this particular transaction wherein I'm making the least profit, right? So I can also, that gives me the summary, and this also gives me the full data. So these are the different transactions that has caused the least profit for my organization. Okay, this I can clearly export it across as a CSV or a PDF, and I can export it as a CSV and ask my probably the area managers as to what exactly is going wrong in that particular region with this particular category. Okay, so it's like that simple. You just had like about 4 to 5 minutes, and you already have a huge insight which would have actually kind of taken quite a bit of time in Excel or in any other reporting tools, basically. So this is actually what brings us to our first visualization, just to have a look and feel. So in case if there are any questions, I can take it up right now. Okay, there are certain questions. Measure is a quantitative value. Yes, measure means size. Are you asking me a question, or are you telling me? Measure is not size. It's not about size. It's more got to do with a qualitative or a quantitative measure. It's a quantitative value or the numbers which you actually work on. All your calculations, all your scientific, basically. All your calculations is something which is actually done based on your measures. Yes. Okay. So any other questions still here? How good are we? Do you guys have any other doubts or anything that that I could address to? Can I go ahead, guys? Okay. What if I want negative value in the opposite direction? Arpita, how are you talking about the color scale, or what are you talking about? What if I want negative value in the opposite direction? The graph, okay. Okay, are you talking about a scale, right? You're talking about a scale wherein it says that negative number is on the other side, right? Okay, that also could be done. That also can be done. Okay, so let's just go back to that small graph that we had done. Okay, so what you could do is you could drag it and put it over here. Okay, and you could take out sales for now, just a sec. And you've got your negative numbers. I took out sales because sales does not have a negative number basically. Or if you want to keep sales, you could always convert this into a dual axis chart. Okay, just a sec. Convert it into a small dual axis chart, and then plot it accordingly as a bar. Okay, so you've got both your profit and sales mentioned itself over here itself. So you've got your negative numbers as well. Okay. So instead of sales, drag profit measure. Instead to sales, drag profit measures. What are you? Do you want me to do it, or what are you trying to achieve, Anshu? No problem, Arpita. Thank you. Anshu, are you there? I just want to show how negative values can be shown graphically. Okay, perfect. So yes, that can definitely be done. Okay. So let's also look into another aspect as to how my sales has been varying over time basically, or how my profit has been varying over time. Okay, so all that I need to do is just double click on order date. I have my list of years that come up to this. I can actually drill down up to day level as well. I can drill down up to quarter, month, day as well. Up to the day level I can drill down to. Okay, so let's see how my profit is varying across different years. Now, when I drag profit and drag year, Tableau automatically understood that this is a date field which is being looked into. That's the reason. Let's not put it up a bar chart. Let's look more at a trend line kind of thing. Okay, so that's the reason it automatically puts up this sort of visualization. Okay, which you can anyway change anytime that you would require. Okay, so you could also drill down to a quarter level or a month level. We'll just keep it at month and year level for now. Okay, there are quite a lot of other experiments that you could do. You could probably pull year to row, and you could have it like year wise in different rows how exactly the profit is being varying. You could put year to color, or basically sales to color, and have a varying trend of colors basically. Or probably you could put profit to color, which would clearly define positive to negative. So all these aspects could be worked around with. So Tableau clearly understands what a trend line is, and what basically how a date needs to be managed. Okay, so you could these are not the only kind of graphs that you could actually work with. You could also change quite a bit with this small pill over here as well, and you could kind of convert it into an array graph. Okay, so now if you have to compute something like want to put out an average line for each and every single year that you have, right? All that you have to do is just go to this analytic tab and pull out this average line and put it across. Pull out this average line and put it across pane. Now for every single pane you have a new average line which is set out. Okay, And this is what I was talking about. A forecast can also be set out clearly. Just a sec. Let me just pull out forecast as well. So so based on the previous times, you can also have an estimate as well. Okay. A forecast can also be provided. You could also probably set out a trend line, which could be linear or exponential trend line could also be set out. See how the variation is happening. So these are all built-in features which probably would have taken quite a bit of task, to create with Excel or with probably any other tool. Okay. So how is it till now? Do you guys have any doubt or anything? Can I take a few questions at this point? Any questions at all? Guys, anyone's done? Probably a no, yes, anything. Okay, so there's one question. What are the types of Tableau add-ons? Does it support GI locational data analysis? Yes, it does. It does. So that's exactly what I was talking about earlier as well. When you see the small symbol, small globe symbol, Tableau understands what the sort of data is coming in, so it clearly sees that okay, the type of data that is coming in is more got to do with country names or state names or city names. So automatically, the moment I click on a data type which is of that sort, it pulls up a geographical map. It's just taking a couple of minutes to load, but it actually puts up the complete geographical map itself, probably my network. So just a sec. Yeah, you see this? It pulls up a OpenStreet map, which can be drilled down and looked into further. So let's just look into this geographical analysis itself on how best we can look into further analysis. So let's try to just work with India data for now. Okay, so just keep India. Just look into just India's data. Okay, and I would want to see how my sales is happening in different in the entire country. Now I see that okay, the total sum of sales is about contribution by India is about 500 or 600 or $600,000. Okay, so that in case if I want to have a split up of country, I can have that level as well. I can have that drill down capability. I have that split, and it's plotted out clearly. Okay, so now up to state level and up to city level. Right now in India, for India it is up to city level, but for US you can have it up to pin code level as well. You can drill down up to the pin code level as well. Okay, so now that I have my sales variation in different parts of in different cities. Okay, I would also want to kind of put how my profit is varying. So I just put profit into color and see which are the areas that is not performing really well. So by this clearly I can see that okay, in Mumbai the performance is not it's really bad. So I can any which ways click on Mumbai, look into the underlying data, and then share it across to different people. Okay, you could see the complete transactions which is related to Mumbai, and you could work with it. Okay, so that is possible. Yes, of course. So right now we have actually built quite a bit of dashboards. We have actually tried solving quite a bit of data issues itself. So in the level of cities, we have actually showcased sales and profit of different categories. Okay, now let's look into this last issue which we have of say profit versus cost of goods. Okay, so right now in my data source, in my data set, I don't have a particular column which says okay, you work with cost of goods or anything of that sort. All right, there's no such column that is mentioned for cost of goods. Okay, it's non-existent for me over here. Okay, but I really would want to know what exactly is happening over there as well. Okay, so what I would probably do is I could just add yet another data source. I click on Excel. Okay, and I would add cost of goods as well into this picture. Okay, and okay, let me just take this as a new data source altogether. Okay. What I can do is I can add a new data source. Okay, put up an Excel, pull up the Excel and see what how my cost of goods is varying. Okay, so cost of goods is yet another data which has come in, but it's not in the same format as earlier. Here there's quite a lot of data which is not being read in the right format. You've got superstores somewhere over here. You've got categorical information. You've got months, years, everything mentioned accordingly, and there are quite a lot of null values. So all these things are null. There is something defined by a hyphen. So there's quite a lot of different issues with this particular data set. Let's see how Tableau actually understands this data and try to work with it. So the Tableau actually does data cleaning to an extent. It understands the sort of data that is coming in, and it can format. You see a small checkbox over here. If you use this data interpreter, it clearly removes all the null values, formats it accordingly, and then shows out a clear, category, subcategory wise tabular data basically. Okay, this is again quite a simple thing to read, because you've got all the months coming in different columns. I would rather want one column for the month and the other column for the date. So typically I would just pivot it, right? So here you can actually pivot the entire fields itself altogether. So what you could do is just select the columns that you would want to turn into. Okay, right click and click on pivot. Okay, so Tableau automatically. Oh, did I miss out one? Okay, so I've selected all, and the moment I click on pivot, okay, so Tableau automatically pivots the fields, and I can mention this as date, okay, and this to be, probably the cost of goods, COGS or something of that sort. Okay. So once I have this data, I can try and use this data for further visualizations as well. So based on orders table, let's see how my profit is happening across different categories. Okay, across different categories, I have the scale already. Okay, now let's try to pull in our cost of goods as well into this picture. Okay, so now I have a comparison of how my profit and cost of goods is varying. I would want to probably try to look into different cities as well, try to understand how exactly it's happening in different states basically. Let me just do a small bit of formatting. Okay, you could change the colors. You could probably add a small border to it. Okay. So now I have a clear understanding of how my profit is varying against each and every cost of goods that is happening. So in New South Wales, the cost of goods is about 59,000, and my profit is almost about 10,000. Okay, so it also separates based on particular categories itself. So in case if I want to have a view of a single category wise, I can always drag categories into filters, select everything, and use it as a filter. So when I select just furniture, it's going to show me just furniture values. If I want to include office supplies as well, I could include office supplies. Just look into office supplies, technology, all these things. So basically, all these things would typically require quite a lot of backend programming and coding that would be included. And the Tableau, since it is more got to do with just drag and drops, all your visualizations could be very much clear to visualize. Okay, so once you have actually made quite a bit of reports within Tableau, you could also collate and put everything together to make a meaningful dashboard. Okay, so what happens with a dashboard is, a set of standard information can actually be put in and presented to probably your higher ups or your bosses to have the complete overall picture of how your sale is happening, right? So all that you have to do is just drag and drop. This is the max that Tableau asks you to do. Okay, so you have this, you can drag it and drop it across, and you also have cost of goods happening in different regions as well. Okay, so right now with this particular small bit of visualization, you have already created about a few reports, and you've also understood solved quite a bit of problems, which is typically quite a task when you do it without any tool or such. Okay, so again, within this, you again have a set of drill downs, and that you could have. You could have a overall summary as well, or you could come in and split it up further into day wise as well. Okay, so all these options are available, and right now, since this category is just this filter is just working only on this one, only on this graph. Do you see this changes happening over here? I can actually work on this and say that you could apply for all related data sources. Now, any change that happens over here reflects for the entire dashboard, right? So this is typically basically how you would probably build your reports and dashboards. Once you have actually developed all your reports and dashboards, you could always go to the server and you could publish the workbook to whatever server or online. Okay, you could probably create a site and then publish it. Once you publish it, all that you will have to do explain it to your boss. All that you have to do is just share a link, and your boss can just log into that link and see how best all your visualizations, whatever you have done. So this kind of covers the entire aspect about your profit of all your data that needs to be analyzed in a much simpler way. Okay, so in case if you have any other questions, I can take it down. Okay, there's one question which says, once we have drilled down to city level, can we remove country and states from the marks? Okay, and can we merge tables, do data fusion in Tableau? Yes, we can do, Mr. Bhattacharya, we can do data fusion as well. That's actually kind of what I did. I blended two data sources to make into one particular report, right? I used two different data sources and made it into one report. What you could also do is you could also, have inner joins as well. All that you have to do is drag the other table which has a common field between the two data sources. Right now the join is happening by default. It takes up an inner join, which is actually the best possible method which is available right now. So the moment you could always have a different join clause as well. You could probably have a left join or a right join, or probably a full outer join. Tableau also understands what is the best field that it can create a join on. You could probably make use the same already, or you could create a new join clause altogether. Okay. You could also add multiple join clauses as well and create further visualizations. So now once you have a join, the returns table, the data related to the returns table also gets populated alongside, and you could use that for visualizations as well. That would come up over here. So you could probably put that on color and see what all are the ones which has been returned. Okay, so that way. Okay, so I think once we have drilled down to city level, can we remove country and state? Let's see what happens. Okay. See, there's nothing that happens. You can put only state. You don't have to generally have something of that sort. Okay. All right. So next, we will mostly be presenting in PowerPoint. So can you export the sheets to PowerPoint? Okay, Arpita, there is actually quite a bit of other backend programming also that can be performed on Tableau. You could also get into the command line inputs wherein you can export certain things onto a PPT kind of format. But honestly, the best way to kind of use these things is, in case if you want to have an export option, you can clearly send this across as an image. You could take this, complete dashboard as an image and put it on the desktop. Let's save it over there for now. Okay, and you can use this image on the PDF on your PowerPoint as well. Okay, so I hope that that answers your question, right? Any other question? Any other questions that I could probably take it? So, okay. Also, can we add new columns to dataset? Perfect. Yes, you can definitely do that. So what you can do is you could create calculated fields. Okay. So that's one other power what Tableau kind of gives. You could create a calculated field, you could create a parameter, you could pass user inputs as well. Okay, so you could say that, okay, there is something called, okay, I would want a scenario wherein I would want the sum of sales and sum of profits. Okay, profits. Okay, so this is a typical calculation. Let's just take it for now. Okay, so I will just take it, create this. The moment I click on OK, Tableau understood what that calculation was about. It was about two integers basically, right? So that's how it actually, the final output of the sum of two integers is going to be again an integer. So it puts it up in a measure basically. Okay, so the moment you click on that, okay, now you could use this particular measure in different analysis as well. You could use it in category wise. You could use the calculation field, everything. And this again, it is on your table. Okay, and the most defining point about this is there is no such thing as write back to your data source. Okay, on Tableau, whatever you do, it is just going to be like a blanket over your data source. Nothing affects your data source. Even if you delete something on your on any dimension, if you delete or if you hide, there is nothing that's going to damage your data set in particular. So there's no such thing as a write back to your data set. So whatever data is there within your database, it is just projected out in terms of visualizations. That's it. Okay. Hope that answers your question, Arpita. Right? Any other questions that I could probably help you out with? If there's a change in original data source, will it be updated in the graph? Of course, of course. See, yes, graph itself. Of course, that will happen because these data sources can be connected as either live or as an extract. Okay, so this option is available right at the time when you pull in the data source itself. You can either connect it as live or you can connect it as an extract. If you connect it as an extract and then publish it somewhere else, you can set a refresh rate for these extracts as well, wherein the sheets get automatically updated as and when the refresh happens. If you connect it live, any changes in the data set will reflect over here as well. Okay. Any other questions?
All right, Deepak, thanks a lot.
Okay.
I think,
Yeah.
we passed a few past the time by a few minutes. But, thanks a lot for a great rundown on data visualization as well as Tableau. And thanks a lot for showing all those scenarios. And
Perfect.
hey, everyone, thanks a lot. I know we took a few extra minutes, but thanks a lot for hanging in. And thanks again for asking the right kind of questions. I saw a lot of people ask the very, very relevant questions. Some of you may be interested in getting the PowerPoint presentation, the slide deck that we used today. So we've got everyone's email ID, whoever is shown up today. So we'll send across a recording of today's webinar as well as the slide deck that Deepak was using. Should you have any other questions on data visualization using Tableau, or if you're interested in doing the program or anything like that, the contact details are given on the slide deck over here. You can definitely reach out to us, and we'll try to help you out as much as possible. Again, guys, thanks a lot for joining in, and Deepak, once again, thank you for such a delivery, such a wonderful session today.
Thanks a lot, Pratik. Thank you guys, and happy Ganesh Chaturthi to all of you.
Yeah, happy Ganesh Chaturthi, everyone.
Yeah.
Take care. Good night.
Okay. Good night. Thank you.